don't we take care of it over
All
here?
right.
So we're talking 22,
2230.
Where Westbrook, property 4102 on Linda, 118.
Yeah, you can very much.
Requesting a single state subdivision approval to subdivide parcels. To 4 lots. 2 of which will be newly drawn existing parcels, 2 of which will be new parcels. New parcels entirely.
2 lots, yeah.
2 lots are brand new.
Yep.
3 and 4.
Yeah, and then the lot 2 and lot 1 are just reconfigured
Right.
around those changes.
You ever get PDFs or full size plans? Or we just got these little
Yeah, the little
exhibit
guys.
scans that we can't really read. They're inside the thing, just written as exhibit.
The other thing I got was correspondence from the attorneys.
Okay, so we've got,
Venezia, please know that
let's see.
Venezia will provide full-size sets of plans.
You want me to forward you real quick, Chris?
Forward to Shauna and she'll make sure it gets on.
Yeah, we'll put it on the M drive.
Okay.
We're not gonna put
Yeah.
things on the M drive until she writes them here.
Okay, I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
If there's any changes.
How's this different from what we saw before? I guess got put on hold. Is it essentially the same,
It is the same.
same application? There's no changes?
No, what they actually.
No, there are changes.
They
Oh.
provided
More
proof that
detail.
those 2 lots are developable, because that was the big question last time, is those 2 lots, can they be built upon? And they proved right here, based on grading, driveway, buildings and stuff, that it was possible.
Chris, I'm sorry, just to interrupt. The lots that you're talking about in question are,
These 2.
what are the lot numbers?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, thank you.
We also reconfigured the widths.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
at the minimum width
Yeah.
frontage for they weren't before, they were a little wider,
Gotcha.
which gave us a little bit more frontage on the lot 2. Lot 2 is a lot narrower, so we did give it a little more frontage there.
Then the next thing was, we're requesting you guys do a waiver to front on a private drive.
Have you read the attorney's response yesterday?
I have done.
It just, I was out yesterday, so I just reviewed it. I actually haven't read it in detail yet, so
Was that what it was?
that's what
it was
was the
Perfect.
response.
So we are trying to update the town code to allow that stuff. It's just, right now, it's one of those things. That
It's
the planning-
ambiguous.
It's up to the planning board, because the planning board can pretty much waive any section of subdivision law and everything like that.
I might suggest it may be a good 5 minutes for the 2 of you to read through the letter.
Okay.
It can help. Anybody who hasn't read the letter, who doesn't have a
I was
copy of
just
the letter.
reading it this morning. I just read your waiver. So the waiver is,
It's really not about the waiver, it's about what's said in the content of the letter.
okay, but going back to the waiver, since that was mentioned first, the proposed lot 1 fronts on a private drive, private right of way.
Good morning. If you don't mind waiting out in the hall, there's a bench. We'll call you in.
The private drive, private right of way connects with and is no different physically or in its treatment on the zoning map from Anna Linda. And then the second reason for the waiver, the private drive right of way fits under any number of definitions of street as provided in the town code and therefore can serve as measurement for frontage.
When we're talking private drive, just for clarification, we're talking about the one that extends at the end of Analinda.
Yeah, we're not talking Anna Linda, we're talking.
It is the private drive that.
Island is to a private.
Right.
It's
Correct.
also, they're
They're
both
all-
private drives.
Right.
Right.
One's a private drive, one's a private driveway.
I think I think we're trying to come up with a terminology. I think one's like a private
But we
road.
are working on
It's
that.
not
We
a
are.
private drive.
Private
And
road,
honestly,
private
if you
drive.
read our code, it says streets and stuff like that, it doesn't include private drives
Drives at
or
all.
private driveways, and we're trying to fix that because we believe they should be included.
So the waivers to get relief for frontage off of a
Frontage.
private.
Private driveway,
Or drive, yeah.
basically.
Instead of getting its own variance.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have another similar.
Which I
one
believe is
here.
just an oversight in our code to tell you. the truth.
Yeah.
That they should be able to private drive.
And that would be for a lot. The waiver would be for lot. Is it two lots?
Frontage.
Lot one.
Lot one.
Well, one and two.
Two is frontage.
Well, lot one really doesn't have anything. Oh, no, it does. So yeah, we'll do lot one and two.
Relief for lot two and one.
Yeah, because lot three and four both have. proper
Yeah,
amount
they
of
both have
frontage.
enough frontage off of that.
Because lot one will have theirs off the newer private driveway, not the private road.
I got you. I found
Is out of window.
waivers for lot one, lot two.
So lot two doesn't have the proper lot width at
Lot-
Linda?
Correct.
Lot
Right,
two
it's
would have
got
frontage
92 feet.
on a private driveway.
Yeah.
But
So you
the
get
front, but the front of it is over here, so a variance is probably required. Front.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Then it's up to you about the whole front and two.
I think staff had an interpretation for lot one that it didn't properly front on a road. What has changed to?
Nothing.
The waiver, there were.
They're asking for
They're
a
asking
waiver
for the
now
waiver.
because they were,
Well, let me be
well, they
clear.
actually weren't
No.
denying, they pulled it. before.
Could I have, Stephen, would you speak for a few minutes on your letter that not everybody read here? So to walk through the thought process by you, Anthony, and Corey, please.
Can I?
Yeah.
mention
Yeah,
the
yeah.
determin-
Hi, everyone. Thanks for this meeting allowing me to speak. Yeah, so basically,
Hold on one
second.
Just 1 second, go ahead.
The determination will be by the zoning officer that the frontage is required to be on a public way based on our code, so a waiver is required. If you're arguing that a waiver isn't required, then you're gonna have to file an interpretation request.
Which we may want to do. So let's go through the whole process here.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're not there yet.
We haven't,
Her determination will be that a waiver is required. If you're arguing that a waiver is not required, then interpretation before you go to planning, before you go to all that stuff. So it'll be your decision which route you want to take.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, Stephen.
Sorry.
okay, yeah, thanks. So, yeah, basically the argument is that on Olinda Drive, which is not a public road, it's a private road, it's a private right of way, basically is the same, if not less equipped than the private drive on which lots 1 and 2 are fronting. So the entire gist of the response is essentially that there is sufficient frontage on lots 1 and 2 via the private drive, the private right of way, which is basically an extension of Olinda Drive. And therefore basically the frontage and waiver and variance requests, we believe aren't necessarily needed.
So that's what we're saying. If you want to go and have an interpretation done against the zoning officer's determination, you're welcome to do that. At this point, we're at PRC. We haven't created a zoning law determination yet. And we haven't even pushed this towards planning or zoning board. This is PRC. So this isn't official. This application is complete. The application is complete when the zoning officer creates a zoning law determination. This is preliminary to assist you through the process. So if you want to go,
Yeah.
you want to
No,
go,
thanks.
you're welcome to file an interpretation, which will put a hold on the application and everything like that until that interpretation.
Yeah.
is done. So
Yeah,
that's
understood.
applicant's decision.
I'm sorry, I have a question. This is Lance with MRB Group. The question I have is, is the dispute that you believe, and I apologize, it's the first time seeing the letter. Are you disputing that you believe you do not need a waiver at all or a variance, right? Because they're two separate things, right? You don't need a waiver or a variance is what is.
Well, so, yeah, so if frontage is measured on Olinda Drive on a private 30-foot wide road without anyone on that street needing a waiver or a variance for frontage, effectively the private drive is serving as the same thing as on Olinda, basically. And that with sufficient frontage there on 1 and 2, the board doesn't necessarily need to waive anything Um,
And again, we're speaking about stuff that hasn't happened yet, the zoning.
well, I
law-
was answering the question, I guess,
I know. I'm saying the applicant will have to make a decision after the zoning law determination is made. The assumption is the zoning law determination reads that the town code says public right of way. Unlinda Drive is not a public right of way. It's a private drive. So we're gonna go to that route and it'll be your decision how to progress after that.
Chris, when is typically the zoning determination rendered?
After the PRC, when
Yeah, it'll
the
be-
application is determined to be complete.
Right.
Right,
We have
so
If there's
everything-
information missing, plans, applications, stuff like that, we won't even move towards planning board and zoning board. It'll say application incomplete.
I just was trying to get a time frame for the ability to respond. So
Yeah.
likely later this week, a decision, a determination, which is typically done, would be provided.
Which will
back
be
and
filed.
accessible.
Which will be filed to the town clerk, and town law requires that if the applicant wants to file an interpretation, they have 60 days to do so.
Okay.
I make one other comment.
Yes, of course.
My daughter's home is at 4094 on Linda Drive,
We know.
We know.
and it has 100, and I believe 150 possibly in width at the extension of the private drive with a 45-foot right of way, already signed off by the ex-chairman of the planning board. And so, I would ask that to be considered also. It's been proven,
That would be something to do during, if you wanted to file an interpretation.
Right, you can include that.
For
Exactly.
and you don't see it as a reason
What?
to not have to.
To not say,
Yeah.
no, we have to go through the process as far as the zoning law determination.
So let's go through the process that you just talked about
course.
prior to my interruption to you. Okay, which was, which happens quite a little bit.
No,
So I
I know.
apologize for all that.
No, it's all good.
Okay, but there's, could you repeat what you said when we 6 minutes ago said something about the process so I can completely understand it?
So you make application.
Right.
The zoning officer determines whether the application is complete. We have PRC.
Which is what we're doing right
Right
now.
now.
Which is
Things
what
might
we're-
be missing, applications.
Let me stop you there just for 1 second, please.
Yeah.
Because the note from you last Thursday or Friday, whenever it was,
Mhm.
said that the final information need to be in
Friday.
by this coming
Mhm.
Friday, right? So I'm asking for
That's our
you,
deadline.
that's a deadline, right? We all agree to that.
Yep.
So the question is, what is missing?
Well, right now it was the PDF, but he, you
We'll do
know,
that. And we're
Anthony
going-
just
that's
sent
what
it
we're
over.
going through.
So there's a checklist,
I
right?
understand the checklist.
No, I know, I think just to be clear, it's typically this process right here determines whether or not the plans and the application materials
complete.
submitted
Right.
are complete.
right,
And then based on that, a determination would be rendered when they have a more of a, let's say, a more of a opportunity to go through the technical review that they have to do with every plan application. The goal is to get that determination and the determination based on today's review out to you guys well enough in advance of that Friday deadline, because if you're hoping to stay on course,
Which we want
if
to
something
do.
was missing, you have till Friday to get it in.
Right.
In order to stay on the course that you're on. I believe, and Chris, correct me where I'm wrong, if the determination, which we believe will be that a waiver is required, hasn't been determined yet, but it's likely, sounds like that's where the town is moving towards, that you would have to submit a request for interpretation by the ZBA, the zoning board.
So the zoning officer files the zoning law determination with the town clerk,
Yep.
right.
and that's the official order made by the zoning
Right.
officer. Applicant is allowed 60 days to file an interpretation against the zoning officer
Right.
to say, hey, I want to question this. Puts the other stuff on hold until the zoning board makes a determination.
What if, just trying to figure this out. What if the applicant decides to move forward with the planning board, but still wants to keep in mind that the opportunity to file
The
the.
interpretation would be that the application's incomplete if they didn't request a waiver.
But I think we have one, don't we?
Okay.
I think there is a waiver on, I think there's a waiver.
He acknowledged already, and he's already produced one.
It says we request a waiver.
I think there's a waiver
Or
form.
is it-
I didn't go through it all.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
possible.
But honestly, this waiver is really a dispute of the code.
Okay. It's not a waiver.
Both of them are, right? I mean,
Right.
Either it's either a zoning issue or a
What
planning
I'm
issue.
saying is, does your waiver say, we'd like to request a waiver from fronting on a private drive, or are you saying you don't believe it is, and this and that, and you're not actually requesting the waiver? Because right now it says waiver requested for lot frontage. The waiver request should be fronting on a private drive instead of a public right of way. So if our determination will be you're requesting lot frontage waiver, but you're not requesting lot frontage waiver, you're requesting frontage on a private drive instead of a public right of way.
Quick question for the planning committee. Did everyone else on Olinda Drive have to request waivers for frontage on the private road as well?
Code was written after those houses and frontage is created. Except for your daughter's plot, yes.
So how is that?
I don't know, that was, what is it, Cooper at the
Yeah, that
time.
was Eric.
That was a different determination by a different
Absolutely,
person.
yeah.
Since I've been involved, most of the activity on Linda has been site plans
Right,
for building on existing lots. Here, we're creating new lots.
correct.
So I think that's a difference between that, the past and the present.
Mhm.
So I think in the consideration of new lots, then we got to consider
So.
the ramifications.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, read something, Chris.
It's just and we all know
Right.
it's a section of code and the way it's written, we want it fixed and stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't, it says street and then there's right of way. And none of it contains private
Private.
property and stuff like that. Which we're trying to revise. Right of way right here, public right of way. Highway line. Between lot and street or highway, street doesn't include private road or private drive. So yes, we're gonna try to modify that this week and get it to the town board. So we're hoping that the town board would take that into consideration, that we're trying to change the code and issue the waiver for you. So that's where we're at.
Town
So
board,
it's either waiver or-
Planning board.
Planning board.
Well, it's either zoning or planning, right? It's either the waiver or the interpretation.
The waiver goes to the planning board as part
With
of
the application.
With the application.
With the application.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna write a letter before you go to planning board to the town board requesting modifications to town code to allow fronting on private drives and private right of ways. So
That will
you
go
can
to
use that,
ordinance first.
so you can use that as part of your argument kind of thing.
What kind of rights and responsibilities do you have on Linda? Is it in some sort of document? Or is it
It's
just
an-
sort of a
It's a
shake of
private
hand?
drive. It's always been within the neighborhood,
I mean,
and
for your benefit, and I think town's
Others-
benefit, it'd be
others.
nice to nail that down somehow.
nobody wants to spend the $20,000 for the.
Well, that
for the
leads to my
arrangement.
next comment is, what improvements are you considering for on Linda as part of this subdivision?
None that I'm aware of.
Well, I'm just thinking that it's a private drive. Private drive has certain design standards.
It meets those design standards, I believe.
I don't think as far as width and drainage and. It
Well,
needs some-
that'll be
on
part of
Linda needs
something.
work.
That'll be part of the planning board and.
Yeah, no, I'm
the
just
engineers
trying to
and
give a
stuff,
heads
yeah.
up. This is the kind of thing I'm thinking about, and I'm sure other
Yeah.
board members are thinking the same, so.
And that will be consideration when we.
Well, that's the thing, right
define
now,
what
we're
it
just,
is,
is it
too.
a complete application? Is it got all the application materials and stuff like that?
We have what
Okay.
we need if,
Okay,
to make a determination.
Okay.
So we're good.
We'll send the PDF over. That's the
Yeah.
only missing piece.
yeah,
Yep,
so
that's
the-
good. for
Is
now.
there
It's
anything else
possible the
missing?
waiver might need to be changed language wise though, Chris.
It
Is that
is
what
your
we're saying?
If you write fronting on a private drive instead of a public.
Talk to
right
the
of way.
attorney.
That's the same one that we were just doing at Dugway, right?
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
so.
So,
Besides that, it's complete.
yes, once we get the PDFs, we're good.
And will a hearing date be set? A planning board meeting date be set?
Second meeting in
That's
April.
good. That's good of the county, right?
Second, because the first meeting is always.
Continued
rollover.
after.
Roll over and because we have to have a public hearing because it's a subdivision.
Subdivision.
So usually the Met has to happen for the time frame. She goes to the site.
Looks like May 24th.
May-
Send the waiver.
Is that correct? May 24.
May 24th.
Mhm.
Yes.
And this is type 2.
Subdivision? No, it's unlisted. We've always classified as unlisted, subdivision unlisted,
So listen,
subdivisions. Short form, and then we do part 2 with it, which is pretty straightforward.
and we're going 524. Okay. Anything else for
Referrals?
Greg? Steve?
If this is strict, right now we're proposing subdivision, or is it including the residential construction?
This is subdivision.
Just
and this
subdivision, right.
Subdivision,
This
it's
is not
not.
site plan,
That's
But
what
It's
they
not-
provided the extra materials to prove.
To prove.
Well,
Yeah,
we
no,
approved
100%
it,
understand.
and
because that was a
it
question.
is not gonna
before.
be something
Yep.
if he sells this, it is a,
Developable.
because it's, I mean, we need the specifics of the house and everything. for
Right,
lot
so
coverage.
there
But
may
it is
be notes, let's say going forward, there may be notes that suggest that it's not buildable at this time.
Lot
without
2 and
site
lot
plan,
3 are
but-
not buildable
yes,
this time,
okay.
it's the typical thing.
Yep.
Saying that if it does get approved, they're not, you're approving the subdivision.
Right,
but
you're
not
showing
the-
that
not the
you're
site plan.
trying to provide documentation.
Right.
get
I
it.
talked to Corey about
I
that, so
follow.
he understands.
Okay, that works. Cool. Thank you. Sorry.
All right,
Referrals?
referrals.
We'll see you on the 24th.
Yeah, not sooner.
Let's see. Okay.
Here's one.
MRB,
Jim, just for water supply potential.
yeah,
Ventura County, 2 lots or?
I don't know, I'd have to look at that one.
I need to look at that. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Let me leave that open.
So it's the only map going
Cheshire,
up.
that's our standard.
Not the watershed area.
Yeah, make sure
No,
that.
We'll wait till site
It's just
plan.
subdivision.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, the application.
524.
Brennan Wood is sitting in the way.
We have also
Actually, he's gonna-
Batiste.
I have Batiste.
Batiste's in the.
Marcello's here.
Oh, Marcello.
So before, could I just pop in on Westbrook? So my understanding is that, are you guys gonna follow up then with items needed and the determination?
Items are
There are
complete,
no items needed.
depending if you want to change your waiver request for fronting on a private drive instead of a public right of way.
That's a
Okay,
change.
and then,
Request a
If
change, right?
it's your decision.
That's
Understand
your
that. It's
call.
all our decision.
It's not the interpretation.
It's different than what's written on the paper.
Yes.
Correct, you just said
A
lot
little more
frontage.
accurate.
Just front end private will drive. And again, we'll write up a nice change of code and we'll give that to you for, because we really are trying to. modify
We are,
that.
Yeah, I know.
absolutely. That's like number one on the ordinance committee right now. Because this just keeps coming up every week.
all right, so I'll edit that and get it back into you guys, and then sort of the interpretation, I guess, is the next step, the determination.
Determination will be
Yes.
done after
Okay.
this today, because
Yep.
that's kind of the materials deadline. She might do it beforehand, and then you'll probably see it next Monday as far as the official zoning law determination.
Okay, so in terms of the April 15th, by this Friday, you're all set, other than just the edited waiver.
If you want to do, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Lance, I don't know if you met before. I'm
I'll
Madeline
check
Rudolph.
with you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm sorry.
You didn't know Lance?
Like,
No,
I mean, I
I've
was gonna say introduce
seen
you.
his
I
name
haven't-
floating
He's the man
around.
behind the
but,
scenes.
but I have not.
No,
seen
they're
him.
It's
He's still making the
like,
rounds,
we
but
need-
there's so many places to go.
Lance taught Greg everything you know.
Well, good to know.
Yeah. that's
Morning.
exactly-
everyone.
All right, what are we looking at?
Batiste,
Let's see,
2828.
28.
2028.
sandy beaches. Is there any sand on Sandy Beach?
Very It's gonna sand, it's a sandy bottom. Kind of like Kershaw.
Okay.
One of those big lots.
Another.
Well, Anthony, give us an overview. Maybe just-
I can give a little bit of an overview.
Okay,
Yeah, Chris
Somebody
has
give
been
us-
working on this for a
What
while.
happened was, let's see, we had the original approved plan. So,
that name's, name sense.
You've seen it.
Yeah, you
before.
have.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what you did was you approved the site plan, they built it. They agreed to remove all the
yeah.
gravel driveway in here and everything like that to meet the lot coverage, so they didn't need variances and everything like that.
Right.
What they did was they didn't remove it. They put asphalt in this area and everything, and then asphalt over here and then turn here, so there's additional asphalt. So we're back to zoning board for variances and lot coverage.
And planning board for site plan.
Yep.
yes.
If it's,
If
if they get a
it's-
variance
If they get it.
to keep the asphalt. Okay.
Well, they're talking
We're
about,
gonna keep the parking area. What our plan is to tear it out and redo it with
Porous.
porous, just to give ourselves some
offset the-
terrain, offset
yep.
what it is. We went down there, we took a look at it and tried to figure out a different way instead of tearing out the driveway and trying to do some infiltration trenches and things of that nature. We tried to do around the lake, but with the elevation and the lake level, you don't get enough coverage over the infiltration trench and it would be full of water just from the lake in general, but
you worded this really, you wrote proposed lot pavement and then lot coverage less porous pavement. What's the lot coverage?
44.1 is a lot coverage.
So,
So we're just basically saying that that 35 is, you know, if you didn't include that coverage because it is a porous, I know we don't. take
so
into account for it.
remove that because
Just because
we're basing it on lot coverage.
So get rid of
Anything
that.
that's not vegetated
Can't do.
is.
So the
They'll use
44.1
that-
is it.
They'll use that and factor it in. You can say I'm proposing this much, but lot coverage, less porous pavement, it's not gonna factor in.
So the lot coverage is the 44.1.
Okay, so what is the lot coverage that was approved by the planning board?
The original,
That was approved, yeah.
is it on the original site plan?
Would have been.
Because we didn't do the original site plan. I don't know if
Yeah.
Hanlon had it.
You did.
No, Hanlon did it on my map.
Actually, I have a letter from you guys saying that you guys did it, because I told them they couldn't do it on your map. And you guys-
Well, just, we had a letter, it was a survey. They used our survey, but they signed off on the site plan. There's no engineer stamper on that from
We're letting
our
them in one
office.
at a time.
So Hanlon actually stamped that site plan
One
themselves.
application's called.
Those were all their calcs and not ours. Just I want to make sure. We just wrote a letter that they could use our survey map as a base map.
So their lot coverage was proposed at 32.9%, which was down from existing, so.
And that was with the removal
That's
of
removal of the gravel.
Okay.
areas that were
39, and now it's being
so you
proposed
can
at
use those
41,
numbers.
but
44.1.
converting-
I'm gonna use
Okay,
these.
But converting the
You'll say
larger
the planning
area
board
to porous.
approved 32.9%.
Yeah.
On this date, what they're looking for is.
What was the original?
The original was 33.9.
Yep.
Okay, so there's
And the
still,
new one was 32.9, and then they went up to 44.
okay. So that's the problem.
Is there still the garage across the street
Yes,
and the
that's-
garage in the new one as well?
There is no garage in the new house. It's just,
Okay.
it's just a structure. So the garage is existing, it was refaced. The whole premise of this is with what was built and, you know, Sandy Beach not having a lot of parking, obviously. That being said, if the gravel driveway was removed and nothing was there, it really puts us at a hardship with where to park. And also, if he was to be parking two cars along the side of the road, it would really narrow it up for people coming in and out, also emergency vehicles. It is a necessity to have that parking area there.
We just had last month on Sandy Beach, an application where the fellow used the grass grids, the grid,
Mhm.
plastic grids with the grass plugs.
Yeah.
Delaney, yeah.
And in Chris's interpretation, that's not considered impervious.
Right.
We did send it to Batista. It's an option. It's up to you. If you don't get the variance or if you don't get the variance,
Something
you could
about-
switch over to
Right.
that and it won't even need planning or zoning.
I mean, they do work. We've talked about it, but
I'm not sure how they'd work for a continually used drive.
That's
in
the
and out. I
issue.
mean,
There's
No, the
continuous
ones they're
use.
Proposing are heavy duty. There's like 4 different,
right, but the grass doesn't really stay. It's just ends up being sand
if it ends up being sand,
and
then
gravel.
no, this will end up being grass. Anyway,
Can you send me the specs on the heavy duty ones? We'll take a look at them.
Yeah.
But the whole premise is to take that pavement that's there and account for that with
Mhm.
the porous and the drainage and not adding to runoff. And that's kind of where we're at with that.
oh, we're at PRC, so application's complete, just modify, give us a little more info. We'll just draw the zoning law determination.
Let's just go off. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just do that.
And then I will get rid of that.
Secret folds over from the other one.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a type 2 before. Residential is weird.
It is weird.
So technically, because you're changing and you're increasing it, it would be a new seeker that we would have to do.
Okay, we'll do it.
If it was just amending, so, but it's still type 2 because it's residential in nature. So I don't think it really matters. We'll just do a new type 2 and call it a day.
So ZBA would be on the 17th of May. Planning board 24th,
Yes.
and your referrals.
Probably,
BCB is gonna want to see
Yeah.
this.
Kevin.
Kevin, yeah, MRV, the 17th.
ZBA is the 17th.
I've got Kevin, MRV, ECB, Chris,
Pretty much it.
and that's it.
Does,
Adeline,
I would-
anytime the ECB.
does the driveway
One of these
the water
applications.
service?
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah,
looking.
Does it change any aspect of that water service that was originally part of the approval?
I don't believe so. I believe it's outside, but we'll double check that.
All right, I would state that.
There's
Chris-
asphalt over it, right?
Yeah.
There's asphalt over everything.
Yeah, so it doesn't change any,
Everything.
I didn't know if it needs to go back to Jim just for that reason.
ECB's May 5th.
I don't believe we're not going as deep at any rate for it, so I
Yeah,
think you're
that's
right.
fine.
May
I
5th.
Double
think
check.
Jim cares either way, it's just.
The pervious, is
Did
there
you
like
mention
some
it
sort of
on Westbrook?
underdrain?
Do you want to see Westbrook's subdivision?
Yeah, there will be. I think we're gonna tie it to the drain.
I was gonna wait
on
Overflow
that.
They're
They're just- Yeah, they're just- They're just
Exactly,
subdividing
that's-
it. I don't know.
Site
That's
plan
kind of the
review.
issue.
The
We're
detail-
gonna tie it.
That's gonna come up.
The
The
detail showed the
drainage
underdrain on there.
Sure, it's
Yeah.
got to.
The detail had the underdrain.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was gonna ask for it.
Yeah, but that'll
Yeah.
tie
My
it.
stuff. probably.
I don't, you tell me.
I think we wait until.
He probably will.
Okay.
He won't.
Because it's not really gonna fix what his problem is. It's just.
It comes from his property. I know when you showed me the.
It's way up in the back. It's.
Yeah.
The whole area.
I'm just trying to get a head start.
The whole area is-
So you definitely have this
Right.
one.
Yes.
Well, it helps having you.
All right.
Lisa, ECB.
I'm sorry.
Okay. There was
Okay.
one, I don't know, there was one, a shed on Westlake Road, Mary.
She's
She-
pushed.
She's
to-
pushed, so she's not today.
No,
She asked us
she's,
to call in or be.
did she not? I
involved.
talked to her
Which one
Thursday.
was this?
It
Mary
was the
Weiser.
shed. She had talked to us about.
She drew a
helping her
sketch.
out. Yeah, I know.
She
wants
knows
it.
what she needs.
So it's a survey, existing conditions, right?
She sent you an
No,
email.
No, but to show where the shed, because she wrote a sketch, it's gonna be here. We
Yeah.
don't know the
Yeah.
front setback, side setback, all that stuff.
Right.
She just kind of said.
Right. So
She's
basically,
gonna work
it's
with you
no
guys.
grading or anything like that, just a survey showing
Location.
everything and
Just
location,
location.
coverage too.
I think we need to see grading, absolutely.
And lot coverage. she might
No,
be
I
okay.
I she knows what she needs.
So you want to, all right, so
I
you're
sent her an
thinking of
email.
grading the whole deal.
I
It
think
might be
grading,
too close to
absolutely.
the front road. She's asking for a size variance and height variance, maybe side setback variance.
So a couple,
Front.
just a couple.
Is that
Probably
30,
four or
is that
five.
33,
She's
54?
pushed though,
Yeah.
so she's not gonna, nothing today.
30, no, that's
31.
3981.
39.
So is there anything, she said, she was mentioning something about getting in for Friday with,
No,
that's
she's
not,
good. No, that's not.
She
even
knows it's gonna be
happening.
pushed off.
Yeah,
another
she
month.
said she would rather wait and get everything buttoned up with you guys.
Okay,
But
perfect.
that might be over building coverage too, and lot coverage.
Yeah, that lot is like 7,000.
Yeah, I know, it's small.
It's tiny.
We'll figure it out.
Okay,
All right, thank you guys.
thank you.
See, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
I don't think anyone else is in our waiting room.
Well, Casey Coons, that's why I was talking to my watch. He was trying to get on from the
Oh, I didn't even,
pig barn,
he didn't even show up.
so
I think the pig barn's good.
I see your little camera
this is,
there.
hold on,
How about
sketch plan
Brandon?
guy. Is Brendan still,
Is anyone in the hallway? He left.
yeah, this guy, Jim
And I
Meyer,
tried to let, the other planning board person, Mr.
Tolbert,
Tolbert, but he disappeared too.
okay.
He was gonna sit on the EV stations, but when it was decided,
Oh,
Yeah.
when we pulled
We
it,
actually have an issue, that's a whole other side chat.
Yeah.
They modified the parking lot striping without permits and stuff, and now they're parking in the fire lane, so I can't issue the permits for the EVs, because you have to park in a fire lane right against the building, so we're working through that right now.
Where are they again? I forget.
It's the Toyota, is it
Oh,
Toyota?
yeah,
West
yeah,
Hair,
West
yeah.
Hair,
Yeah,
yeah.
up against the building and stuff, so they need 3 sides of the building to have a 30-foot wide fire lane, which they put parking in now. so.
Do we, every time you put in an electrical charger, we have to go through this process?
Casey's
again?
out there.
No,
No,
electrical
not
charger.
yet.
I've
I mean,
issued
we're-
probably
we're-
50
we're
permits.
You
working
can sit
on
wherever you'd like.
planning issues regarding EV stations.
Okay,
But there really shouldn't be any planning issues.
You're taking away parking,
No, they're just a regular parking spot with an EV at the end of it.
yeah, but it-
You can park there if you don't have an EV.
unless they put a sign, EV parking only, but okay.
That's up to them. It's just,
This is Mr. Meyer, Jim Meyer.
Hello, Jim.
He's Sketch plan
morning,
on
folks. Good
Fire
morning.
Hall Road, 32.
32.
Sounds uptown,
This is uptown.
uptown. Uptown Saturday night.
which plan do I go?
You sent a lot, we've got a lot.
you know, it's gonna be fun if the address is 0000.
Ah, nice one. There you go.
Kind of.
So Jim's requesting a sketch plan based on the form-based code zoning district for a
Mhm.
multifamily townhome development, 23 buildings, excuse me. Making up 117 units on 14.4 acres. With a clubhouse and pool. Okay,
And restaurants and commercial space. So next.
That's just what we want up there.
sounds. Vintage uptown. It's Jim's sketch.
Well, yeah.
The sketches are kind of light.
So,
Go ahead and-
my apologies for that. If you zoom into 100%, they come in mostly clear. This is the tree plan.
I know, I'm just trying to find a plan that.
Yeah,
was-
again, they give us a bearing where the lot is.
Yeah,
So this runs, it's 2 lots. Well, it's 1 lot, but Fire Hall cuts it down the middle. That it's near Emerson.
he's going to Encore. What a surprise.
Gotta go down.
Those deer, we
Oh,
see those deer
I
all the
like
time.
Encore.
I do too.
Encore's
We
the
all love
best.
Encore.
Yeah.
If were a map fiend growing up, you're all about the Encore. I mean, I could go into a deep dive on Encore. way
Lost
too
it for a while.
hard.
It's,
Could literally spend a vacation just shopping around on Encore.
So there's Fire Hall. Is it this one? This one?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, I see. Okay. And that's Emerson on the north, on
It
the
is.
north,
Yeah.
south, and south on the top.
and then Kepner's on the bottom.
Kepner, okay.
And Uptown Landing was
Uptown Landing is south.
It's over
East. Yeah,
over there.
Yeah.
Okay, the other side.
yeah,
Does this have a name at this point?
Regrettably, no. it doesn't.
that's okay. That's not regrettable.
It's something historic.
I'm absolutely open to suggestions. on that.
Awesome.
Jim, why don't you give us just a summary of what you're
But
thinking?
could we get little darker plans? Because we're gonna, again, when this goes to planning board, they're gonna want to see this and get a really good idea. If you can,
I can get you anything you like.
Just an overall with the,
because like our overall right here,
if
Yes.
you could put,
you can't really I see trees and I see parking spaces.
So when you say overall, just to make sure I understand too, you're asking for an overall plan that kind of identifies location, right? So you
Sure,
see
and-
some of the other roads and parcels.
Yeah,
and his property.
location, but also
Like I can't tell where the buildings are.
where are the buildings,
Yeah.
It's-
where,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're.
They're just the wrong line type and depth and
I can
thickness.
certainly, yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a-
just change your plot scale.
That's a minor
something like that,
request.
yeah.
Sure.
Just because, you know, us sitting here, the planning board and everyone looking at it's gonna be like, well, what's
What
this?
is
What's
this?
this?
Yeah.
We're looking
If you
at,
would label the buildings, say
we're looking at on an
eight,
iPad.
8-unit townhomes, this is the restaurant building, just because right now you wrote residential buildings, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, isn't that? We don't know.
Where?
It's kind of a very blank plan. Your text is really, really tiny.
Sure.
but again, I mean, it is sketch, so we don't,
Yeah, but
Need a
it gives them a
ton.
helpful kind of
absolutely.
Mhm.
overall idea.
How many stories are there?
Just
We have
to,
an elevation.
yeah, there's an
Yeah.
elevation drawing.
But as far as PRC, it's a sketch plan, you have everything as far
There's
as
the
this
facades.
meeting and stuff.
Mhm.
So you asked me to walk you through it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure. So what we're trying to do here, Shauna actually started the first contact correctly and asked where I'd been the last 2 years. So that's when we started this. I didn't care for the plan at all and eventually tore it up and decided to start over. So we were looking to create a fun, exciting, social place, community here. In our first plan, just didn't have that. So we went about coming up with some different ideas. How this works on the left side, it's fairly narrow here. Tried to do everything so that it seems like the best thing to do is just make it as dense as possible over there. And then focus on the right side. So as you come down Fire Hall Road, you've got this combination clubhouse, restaurant here, you've got office space over here, whether it's a coffee house, ice cream shop, don't know. Then as you come back in the backside, the clubhouse, the pool, and then we're hoping this is like actually the size of a football field here. There's a lot of space. This kind of becomes all mixed use. Although we've dropped some trees in here, I've actually started my career out in landscape and realized fairly quickly there's a big difference between landscape designers and what landscape architects can do. So this, although represented, it meets the requirements. We'll have an architect come up with a design here that kind of merges these two spaces together. The parking lot here is kind of orphaned from the rest of the development. The hope is that this public space here and here is served by this parking lot and then this one, which is not needed by any of the residents. We've got 2 parking spaces per unit for every building and then extra parking spaces at every single building with the exception of down in here, it gets a little bit tight. There are still more parking spaces than you need here.
No garages.
No garages. Yeah, don't want any part of garages. They
Everyone in
don't
New
look
York,
nice.
yeah, everyone likes to get their car out of the snow though.
They do, and there seems to be a lot of people in the public storage business. And we've also seen examples of these developments like this, and really all you see is garage doors. They
Oh, yeah.
seem to be
Yeah.
up front celebrated, and that's, yeah, so the intent here is this is rental property. We're not
Mhm.
doing condos to sell, it's strictly rental. Combination 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. We've got this figured out so that the 1, 2, and 3 fit within the footprint of the building. So depending on how it fills up, you can accommodate whatever the market is indicating.
But they're meant to be market rate, I'm guessing.
Correct.
So our lighting requires full cutoff in the town.
Say that again.
Our lighting requires full cutoff. You can't see the bulb, you can't see the light. all the light shines downward. So
Got
pretty much all the lights you show are violation of town code. Yes.
Hang on a second. So here's kind of our conduit map. One thing we're trying to do here, the electric cars are coming. We've got this set up so that every single unit will have a dedicated conduit out at their parking spot, so that eventually their charging station shows up. Technology's not quite there yet, but get the conduit right to the edge of the sidewalk allows us to accommodate whatever does come.
Mhm.
Doesn't our code have lighting standards? in it?
I know, it's just,
I'm
Form-based?
curious about your comments.
what he's proposing is catenary lighting, which is stuff like this. Which,
For Fire Hall Road, yes.
but that doesn't meet our town code as far as lighting. A lighting, dark sky compliant,
Sure.
the light bulb shielded and hidden inside a shroud, and all the light
Sure.
shines downward.
Sure. We're trying to create this festive,
I know,
fun. Can you pull the drawing up of the string lights? Or if you've probably already seen it.
so zigzag,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're
it
trying
doesn't
to,
meet town code.
doesn't meet town code.
Chris,
Well, we're
it-
ahead
yes,
of
I'm sorry.
ourselves.
does that type of idea, what would happen would be what? In order to get that, if that was something he wanted to pursue,
If
He
you
would-
looked at, I mean, New York State Uniform Energy Code for street lighting and stuff like that, it really is inefficient and doesn't meet watts per square foot for outdoor lighting. And as far as controls and dimming and stuff, I mean, it looks great, sounds great. These lights don't meet the LED, the requirement either.
So we can.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we can change that. So that's these would be the functional lights. These would be more decorative than anything else.
I think you would probably need to have like two type of plans, right? Your lighting plan going forward, assuming we did a lighting plan, not showing those so that we can get a good understanding of whether or not your site is compliant with the required lighting that's for safety, pedestrian accessibility, those type of things. And then if you were going to pursue this other option, you're gonna have to work with staff on that. I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves. but
Yeah, we are.
There are
Well,
options to do stuff like
Form-based code
this,
area though.
like
isn't it?
catenary suspended
We
LED
haven't
street
seen
lights.
that
full
in other
cutoff.
places.
I mean, my question though, is he's in the form-based code area. Isn't that a totally different code?
No,
for lighting?
no,
Not,
Not from lighting.
not from
building,
lighting, not from energy code. This is, we're talking uniform New York State. code.
Okay, yeah.
We're all trying to go nicer to clean
Yeah, yeah,
energy, not wasted, not spill light, all that stuff. So,
Well, let's get back to
Yes.
the concept of what you're proposing, which is great.
yes,
And that's what we need to think about as your
Okay.
sketch plan right now. We
which is this.
right, so,
And the buildings, right? Because that's form base. That's what
yeah,
we
the
have.
buildings
that
are very
A
important.
pond and a
So-
pool? Is
So
that,
these are
Yes.
stormwater ponds,
Okay.
and they are estimated very large.
Okay.
So accommodate the plan.
Okay,
yeah,
those are
so
both
those
ponds, I
set
see
up
that,
it estimated at large, and went 20%, then went the 100-year event, and so you'll practically never see that, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, so, yeah, make them smaller.
and you have sidewalks throughout as well, did you say?
Sidewalks through everywhere. I'm
Great.
really hoping,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you start wandering
yeah.
around through this football field.
Yep,
I'm hoping there's like little gazebos out here,
trails and. things.
little possibly kitchens for the residents to come and.
Did you
Enjoy the
originally talk about some playing fields, soccer?
No, we haven't considered that. Certainly
that's-
looking to use that as more like tent space, event space,
Okay.
fun space like
Mhm,
that sort of thing. I know you guys have done a really nice park down the street.
Yes, yep.
And so you went through the form-based code and started designing your idea to match some of the intent of that code, or?
Very much so.
Okay.
I studied that very intently.
Mhm.
So we also need, ideally, this is connected to the city. We're missing some sidewalks along Kepner. The rest of the way down Park, or on Fire Hall, I'm sorry. And then we also, this plan is contingent upon, or using the idea of curbs down Fire Hall Road, which don't exist, so. What's the extent of our partnership here?
Mhm.
Right.
So it sounds like your concept for the residential is like a row house effect. The units are out toward the street, parking's in the rear, no garages.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
yeah.
Have you been up and down,
No, parking's in the front.
like,
I thought he said parking.
You can't have parking in the front.
so?
Can't park in the
And
front.
we're-
Well, I mean,
So-
your
so
house
along-
is here, you're fronting.
Yeah, along Fire Hall
Yeah.
Road, so what we're, so yeah, I apologize, I actually
Oh,
didn't say
that's
that
actually
right.
on Street.
We've kind of matched this, have you been up and down like in Boston and Newberry Street and Marlboro Street and those streets where everything is pushed tight to the road?
Yep.
Yeah.
You've got all those little
For me, it's
individual.
Philadelphia, but same thing.
Same
Yep.
thing, the little,
Baltimore, all of those.
all
cities.
the
Yep.
same, that's
Yep.
really what we're looking at, those
Sure.
little individual landscape yards with the trees close.
That's
And,
the,
and then parking in the front, although
Yeah.
although
the
we don't,
intent of the form-based code.
we're not
But it's
including
I meant Fire Hall.
any of this parking in our plan, so technically, we don't need it at all. It just seems like it's, I'm open to your opinions on this, it seems like that's usually how the way they do it,
Where is the?
That's one street park.
That's
So-
on street on Fire Hall.
on
Yeah.
Fire Hall,
Yeah.
yeah.
On street on fire.
Where would,
Okay.
like, where, out of just curiosity.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the answer. So somebody's, the mailman's coming, delivering mail,
Yeah,
typically stops, puts in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Where's the mailbox in this location?
it's inside the clubhouse.
Clubhouse, right? So it's
Okay.
one spot.
Oh,
location.
okay.
Part of the, of kind of driving that social part,
Yep.
so do you come.
Nope, makes sense to me, just
Together,
wanna-
get your mail, yeah.
Yeah, make sure I understood that.
Yeah.
Same
Hopefully,
with,
the post office goes with that. They've got some strange rules.
that's typically, that's what we've seen. They have their own in these
Yeah,
locations sometimes.
yeah.
What about disposal?
Yeah, they're scattered around, actually, Pole, there's one right here. There's
So a central
one right
location.
here.
Yep.
I've got them.
I got you.
Okay.
Just wanna make sure we
They're
clear about that.
pretty far away from people's houses.
Might need more.
Well, I've got kind of like every group, I've got them.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying this is 400 yards.
Right, we can get,
I'm
Uh,
Or
confused by
maybe
this
200.
plan.
I'm just
No.
saying,
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
understand what I'm looking at.
but you don't want them all over the place.
but then you have an 80-year-old lady that wants to be able to get her garbage to a dumpster and not walk.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's just a comment, I'm sorry.
yeah. Oh, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
so the main, I know this, the main road is Fire Hall.
Correct?
That's where everything's kind of geared towards, the form-based code is tying Fire Hall Road basically into
Correct.
that form-based code.
Yeah.
And then all of the other access points are more geared towards like accessibility to those
To the
To those
residents.
areas.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is, can you explain that road at the bottom?
Is that, yeah, is that,
What is,
Is that
What am I
Kepner?
looking
is that Kepner?
Kepner's not showing up, but there's another.
There's a business in there.
About 100-foot lot here on the corner of
This is
Kepner
more
and
like an
Fire Hall.
access road.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just pulling in.
yeah, so for emergency vehicles or just accessibility,
Just for
that's what the
parking.
point is.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
get
you
it.
would get to this corner from, you can't get to it from the north down. You
Correct.
would come in from the south up.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Correct. Yeah, and then it's a little loop and.
Yeah.
and back out.
I follow.
And that's your commercial area down there?
So the commercial area is kind of right in the middle, so there's
That's a
a
good
whole lot of
idea.
landmines with putting commercial areas inside of residential site plans like this. And a lot of them fail, and from what I've studied on this, the reason they fail is they're not on the edge. You know, site plans all about the story and the edge. So
Yeah.
people feel, if you've got them buried back in, people now feel that they're trespassing on somebody else's place. I'm not going there. So we've got these right on the edge of Fire Hall Road. Again, the parking lot is inconvenient to use as a resident. So hopefully that works to draw this in. We're originally planning this to be, again, lights over top of here, a fairly festive,
Sure.
open, fun place.
Beer hall.
fireplaces.
Say beer hall. There's a lot of people that are obsessed with beer around here.
There we go, beer hall.
Just a tip.
Yeah, so people sitting out. And extremely
And that
accessible.
run of buildings over there to the right, are they residential?
Everything
Go to
else
the-
is residential.
That's residential.
Oh, that's
that
residential there.
pocket.
Residential, yeah. yeah,
So
backyard.
Everything is residential except for where.
And that stuff-
Those area right
Okay.
there.
That stuff just below the pool, those are also more units, correct? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, I'm also having difficulty understanding the plan.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Jen, those units, what about moving the parking, flipping it to the back? Because ultimately, we don't want parking in front of the units like
Same,
that.
same as this, same as this.
We don't want parking and.
Parking
Right.
is rear units and.
So like you have
Just
on
like you have, yeah,
fire hall,
same concept, you're flipping.
even the internal
So-
area,
Yeah,
Shauna,
even the
have to have
inside.
that
Well, I
idea.
think the.
The form-based
guys.
code is
Well, we
looking
could
for
This way.
parking.
flip.
Anything, your argument is you want people entering their units in the back door?
That's very urban too.
Yeah,
You got
it
the
is.
alleys, the rear load,
Yeah, good point.
you know?
Yeah, so for this area over here, we thought about it only because the front of the units would be more nice to look at.
Without the parking.
Yeah.
Are you anticipating any, like, these are just buildings to be rented, the space, all the perimeter space is gonna be maintained by,
What's that?
By
the-
Oh, on
by
the
the
other
place,
side.
yeah.
so if we put the parking in the back, you do lose your rear yards. I don't know
Yeah.
what the age group they're
Well-
looking for,
Well,
because,
they're also backing on a park though, essentially. I
Right.
mean,
that's a
that's-
good point too, so there's other amenities nearby.
Yeah, so these
Well,
these
But this is
backyards,
parking in the front too.
yeah, so we could switch them all. That's an interesting point.
I mean, that's kind of what the form-based code was asking for, was
Definitely.
rear and side parking.
I don't think it allows front.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so a lot of these, like these, you're parking in the front. These, you're parking in the rear.
But if they were all like Fire Hall Road,
Yeah.
if they were all geared to match what he's doing on Fire Hall Road,
And do you
That
get
would be
rid of
more
the parking on
conformance.
Fire Hall Road, give them a nice big front yard?
possible. I mean, that I do see the benefit of pushing it to match the form-based code. I'm only concerned with the fact that I feel like we're going to increase impervious surface even more
Mm.
and remove even more of the green space. And maybe that's a density thing, but when we start to do that, in order to get your turning movements, you're going to increase
Oh, yeah,
impervious space going to the back.
Is it
Yeah.
pretty flat?
dead
It's
flat.
so flat.
Yeah, I was thinking it was pretty
It's
flat.
flat
over
and
there.
wet,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
But you're right, I mean, the form-based code is pretty clear and
With
not
rear
for
and side
nothing, we
parking.
don't have many of these coming through, so we're gonna be scrutinizing on
Yeah,
each
this is
one.
gonna be our first
Yeah.
review.
I think,
Ah.
well, I think it's an exciting start
It
though. I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
it's
It
definitely,
absolutely is.
it's creative, it's interesting. I think there's
Yeah, this is
definitely a lot to
exciting.
work
I
with
think
here.
Very much.
And remember, we are just sketch, so
Mhm.
That's the value of the schedule.
That's
This is
the beauty
the
of it.
part of getting all the comments and stuff right now.
Sure.
So you,
The stream that goes through here. Where are we going
So
through?
there are some
Thank you.
serious challenges with coming up with this design.
Cause
There's,
it's a DEC blue line street.
yes,
there's a,
oh, it is blue line.
right
what's the
there.
blue line mean?
It's a classified DEC street.
So
Setbacks.
25-foot total easement on both sides.
100
100
foot setback.
feet.
So
Buildings.
variance.
Yeah, that would, that's.
It means that
So
the
we went
DEC
25
regulates
on
it.
Both sides.
Yeah, so variance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
But you had to maintain the corridor.
Yeah, and culvert covered. Just like it is on the road, just like it is.
I know, but for long distance of culverts, the DEC isn't too 100% great on that because it's not a natural environment. Doesn't allow things to live and grow and stuff like that. You might end up with some issues trying to cover an entire length.
We had a project similar, a car dealership, they had to go through a process
Yeah.
with DEC, so it would, if you are moving towards that idea, it would make sense to have that conversation with DEC about what you're intending to do, because it's gonna dictate a lot on your site.
Okay.
But Chris is right, they typically want to keep it natural.
Yeah, because again, things don't live in a culvert pipe that you want to see.
Mhm.
Also, they
Alligators.
want to keep the
So
flow.
this
Oh, God, we
also,
don't have
right
those
here,
again.
this
Jumping
is,
worms.
Yep.
Oh,
Not yet.
God, the jumping arms.
this is. town
Carol,
owned
I'm just trying to run
stormwater
away.
and some of that.
Sorry.
So,
It
I
looks
was looking
deep.
at all of them.
I'm gonna show you a picture of this.
yeah,
Great minds think alike.
Just to give you an idea of design wise. No, it's all good. Where is it? It's not a house, Emerson. Do I have my picture of Emerson?
Mhm.
So this is it.
Yeah.
Full to the top.
yeah, I've been out there to.
When-
You've witnessed
I'm out there
that.
when it
No, I'm
was-
saying this is 16 feet deep.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this thing is scary, the ditch is scary, and we're
Yes.
not going near it. I'm not draining any water into that, I'm not going near
I'm just
that.
saying, I've seen points where this comes over
Oh,
and
there's your
connects
blue.
these two.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that was that picture you just saw. This is, I was standing here and the water was up to my feet.
So where is that on his plan?
Yeah, so we don't have anything near that.
That's off.
That's a
in
different
yellow,
parcel.
everything yellow in
Okay.
it is his parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's up near where the,
The town owns this parcel
okay,
and it's part of our stormwater kind of infrastructure to allow during big rain events, us to kind of hold back some of the water.
Mhm.
But it does that.
It creates the,
It's this, but I've seen this thing overflow to the point where it connects these two.
so, but can you just go back to his plan so we can see where that is on his plan?
So you're flooding my land?
No, it's right here.
Okay, so it's just off,
That ditch comes along here and then it curves. up
You say
that way.
ditch, but it's a street.
So that's interesting because most of the time it's, there's nothing in it.
Yep.
It's only during events.
But if you, the little blue line,
yeah, the blue line just represents the fact that DEC's identified that as a tributary that they want to have say in.
Sure.
So
Sure.
any work near or adjacent to that requires coordination with them.
which is the same as this one.
Same with that one.
Okay. So our intent is those two stormwater ponds that we have is to connect to that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you also
Not
have,
touching.
you also have stuff designed along this.
So we're staying 25 feet, actually I guess it's 50 feet from that blue line center to where.
Yeah, I think that's access.
100 foot is our thing too.
I don't know what it's
Is
called.
that 100-foot wetland kind of buffer from a stream?
That was my next question, Chris. There's gotta be wetlands on the site.
Honestly, I've walked it and it's rough.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like I've this right
Good.
here.
that makes it easier then. Because of,
It's nice during dry events, but there's been some incidents where, like, back to that picture. This is me standing on,
big drain there. When, that's spring, I assume, or no, it's summer, because we got,
Well, this is flooding the street. This was quite an event.
yeah,
That
but
was
like
bad.
here's Outhouse Park.
yes, that we've seen. What's that from, 2014?
Yeah, I have some.
Crystal, is this in a-
19.
is this in a designated flood zone?
The new flood zone, this I don't know.
Yeah, that might be
can
a
check
question
on
that
it.
you'll have to look into too. Is you might want to look at the new FEMA maps.
They're on Encore now.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got them.
Because if you're in a flood zone, obviously there's other things that have to be accommodated.
Yeah, I've not seen any indication of that, but if there's new maps.
And they're still in their draft,
Yeah, they haven't finalized, but
right?
So back to your comment about, so 100 foot from
The bed of the stream.
the bed of the stream, that's, we can override that with a variance or?
Yes.
You can request a variance.
Okay.
Mhm.
that would be part of the process.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
that'll
that-
be part of your
Flood zone?
formal
Showing stuff, that's flood zone.
application.
That Where's
So just something
Chinese
to be
flooding?
aware of now.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
you move
I don't know
forward.
what he clicked. I see hashed, yeah, one is floodway and one is like the 500 years, so
Okay.
oranges, everything orange and in is 500.
Yeah, so you're good up. It doesn't show. you
Everything with the
the
blue
maps.
lines,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't see
yeah.
any R.
I'm just wondering what the like bright,
Yeah. Oh, no,
is that
they,
where it
They're
can,
brand
where
new.
it can extend to?
Like-
Yeah.
I just went to the
Like,
meeting, comment on them before they adopted them, but like, here's
No,
the,
those are
Edible
wetlands
lake.
and flood areas there.
here's the draft ones. And if you look at.
Boy,
the
that
old
lake's really
ones,
wet.
here's-
Don't build anything on
That's
top of that. Wow. I didn't realize it would go that
Well,
wide.
that's all the lagoons. and-
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at, here's,
Sandy Point, Sandy Beach.
Sandy Beach.
but then you should see the draft ones.
Yeah, I bet Vine Valley's a whole nother Y of the lake, probably. I have to
Anyway.
click these exciting new clicky things on.
So I
Encore.
think if you can get us a plan that just is more straightforward on one view.
Bold, just bold.
Yeah.
things.
Sure.
That's all. Don't
Absolutely.
do too much work because it is sketch. and-
Do we have, I saw what looked like the residential building. Do we have anything on the commercial building, what that would look like?
No, we don't. Haven't really dabbled
Still
with it.
figuring
too
that
much.
out.
I only state that because obviously form-based code requires, I mean, it's really a lot of it's architectural
Mhm.
requirements, so I don't know if you have maybe even a picture of something that you were looking to mimic.
Yeah,
You
that's
might
a
be able to
great
put in.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
Without
don't
doing the
have to
design,
do a
but
rendering.
just a picture that you might wanna,
Okay,
something similar to this, then we got something to go off of.
okay,
Because
absolutely.
a lot of the work in this is not only the layout, which you would think would be the majority of it, but it's gonna come down to the architectural stuff.
Mhm.
I think that's really gonna be very important.
It's our first go through too, so it's gonna,
Yeah, we're gonna work with you on this because we're newbies
yeah.
with the form-based code.
As far as your commercial thing goes too, I don't know if you're aware that in the city, they just opened a coffee shop in the
Yeah,
middle
that's a great
of
place.
Lisbon, what's this called now? The.
To something, what is the name?
Uh,
of it?
go,
the
on your way out of here today,
Yeah.
drive down
on
on
Gorham
Gorham Street.
Okay.
And go it on the right-hand side there. There's a new apartment. They rehabbed an old manufacturing facility to an apartment facility.
Yeah.
And they have a coffee shop and such in there right now. So,
Yeah, it's
So-
called, it's great. I just went there
Yeah.
for the first time last week. and
yeah. people love
It
it,
fits
so.
in really well.
It's a similar thought process, urban with a little bit of commercial in there and it's in progress too. So.
I'll check that out. Thank you. Sure, any referrals?
No,
Sketch.
no. not
Referrals,
now.
no, which meeting? We gotta do.
It's up to you guys.
I mean, it is, but-
For comments and stuff, it's up to you guys.
Do you wanna
but
just
it's
put
not
it
like-
on?
I'm thinking the first meeting.
I
I'm
think
going to
so.
Boston this week, so I'll have to check out Newbury Street while I'm
Oh,
there.
you'll love
I'll
it.
see
You'll
that.
love it.
Being a
Looking at
sketch.
images of it
The
here.
street- the streets that are parallel with that too.
That's really cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes, can
Ten-
you-
Check out Marlboro Street.
Marlboro Street,
specifically.
okay.
It's a
That's
short
what's
walk.
inspiring you, so.
The
I'm gonna check
first
it out.
meeting in May.
So it doesn't go
Which is-
anyplace,
no.
just to Chris.
Chris doesn't even need it.
Okay, no referrals.
If Jim wants to make any changes to the plan and sketch, when do you need that?
Is Casey out there?
I think somebody's out there.
Yeah, can you have him come in? He's with the Ag Society. If you can get us a plan, how quickly can you get us a
Oh, this week.
folder? Okay, that's great.
Just bold the building.
That's
so-
it.
So that, I mean, everything else is great, just so we can see the buildings.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
Okay.
And the text maybe for the roadway. so-
Absolutely.
Yeah, to see where fire hall is.
I've got that. Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks,
What-
Jim.
What happens next?
You come to the May
And do the same thing.
At the
Well,
town?
12th,
And just try to
10th?
talk
Yeah, the
about it.
first one, right?
Okay.
May
What-
10th.
Then
10th.
back
May
to you
10th.
guys. Where we'll
If,
work
yeah, I
on
mean,
the
you take
details.
all the comments and
And
everything.
then
like
we'll do a formal
Okay.
application and.
You'll be
Really?
meeting with the planning board, Jim, and they will be giving you comments on the plan. You can take them for what they're worth, and then at some point, you'll probably want to make a formal application.
For preliminary.
And then
site
you
plan
would,
approval.
you would follow the procedure in the form-based
Oh,
code.
yeah. Does that go to town board first or?
Yeah, we'll work, it's gonna go to town board.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone has their say on this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's very,
And it's all
very
positive.
visible,
It's usually.
but in a good way.
Good.
Yeah.
good. Thank you
So,
very.
Thank you.
Well, thank you
We're
very much.
excited.
Nice to meet you.
Look forward to
You're
working
interested.
with
All
you.
right, Take care.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye, you too.
Take care.
Is it 10th or 12th?
You might want to reach out to DEC, just,
Hey,
to-
Casey.
I will. I'll
just
do
have that preliminary
Come on in,
dialogue. with
Casey.
them, you know?
This
How we
one's
doing?
gonna be really
Excellent.
quick.
Right.
I'm very helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
One around.
Casey,
the ag
Untitled
barn.
Chapter Ag,
Hey,
he's
Casey.
building
Hi, how you doing?
a ag pig barn.
Pig
in the
barn.
middle-
Oh, the pig barn, yeah,
In the
yeah.
middle of another building, so there's setback, no setbacks, this night, meets the fire code setbacks from the other buildings and stuff, so.
No water, right? No,
Correct,
Yeah,
nothing.
it needs to go to planning board because it's over 1,000 square feet in the CC or is it I?
It's I over there.
So,
I think you need to put temporary in big bold letters in this.
Well, it's not temporary.
It's
Well,
a
temporary
building, it's a
housing
permanent
of
building.
pigs.
It is a building.
It's an annual house.
There you go.
but that's really where we're at, it's just.
Yeah.
Very, the application, I mean,
Yeah, did you want to tell us anything about it?
So one of the main reasons, well, the reason why we're building it, first of all, is we're growing,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
Mhm.
And then that also makes it hard to show where we currently show them in the older building. It's hard for the public to see them. It's a very
Okay.
popular show.
Yeah,
We remodeled right where that arrow is, just inside of that T of the building, of the HA. Is a show ring that we remodeled about 5 years ago. And that'll give us better access for the people to watch the show if the building is located there. We get our space that we need for the actual animals. And then they'll be able to access that show ring that's in the middle of the complex there.
are you just filling out that little stub
We're
that's
doing it
coming out?
right
You're
there.
finishing that off?
we would like,
It's not
Probably-
finishing, it's its own.
yeah,
Yeah, it,
just for fire
Oh, okay.
code,
But it's.
you
fixed
probably
right
will
now.
need to extend this drive down to here.
oh, we do plan to do that because we
Okay.
want the public to have better.
I know,
access.
it's just, you have to have it so a fire vehicle can get within
Okay.
70 feet of the building.
All right,
That would be my only comment.
Okay.
That would be during building permit stage kind of thing.
okay, okay.
I mean, I don't think there's anything else. really.
Yeah, it's
It's a big.
fairly straightforward. Yeah, it's a big barn.
Casey, where was that other building that was approved probably last year or two?
All right, so
There.
this,
Near that, okay.
It turned
so
out nice.
that's the large building. That was approved. That's our public
Oh, the
assembly
ice- the
building.
ice cream
And then
stand?
a year, well, then that one was done year before that.
Yeah.
Then you go right straight down or south from there, right there.
Yeah,
It was last year's poultry.
Yeah.
building.
poultry, right?
Correct,
This is for the pigs.
correct.
Okay, so I mean, there's no room for, I mean, there's no concern about building coverage.
No,
setbacks,
lot coverage,
obviously.
building coverage,
None of that
setbacks,
stuff.
everything's good.
All right. Okay, well, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right.
We've had a lot of good support from the community and we're able to keep going, which is great.
What's the dates this summer?
The date says July 26 to 30.
I did mention the whole, you're storing stuff in the winter. That's actually an approved use. in the
All right.
zoning district. I'm just saying, just so if anyone brings it up,
Okay,
it is an approved use. If you want to store stuff in the winter under
Okay.
the pig barn and wrap the boats,
right?
it's an approved use. in the
Oh,
zoning
great,
district.
great. Well, we appreciate that too. It's a big help.
Secret? Is there a secret? Unlisted.
Pig barn.
The original
I
secret.
don't know what pig barn falls. in.
I would say unlisted, but I think if it's under 4,000 square feet, it could be a type 2, but I'll just double check. So let's call it unlisted. You already provided a short EAF.
It's technically agricultural.
That's what I
think it
was
might
gonna
even
say.
be
it's
omitted
ag.
for that
Exempt.
reason.
Isn't it
So let's just go
exempt?
to the exempt road. My good call.
Yeah, that's
Exempt?
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's ag.
we'll just call it that and that helps.
Yeah, we don't want to
Any
ham it up.
referrals?
Yeah, right. I don't want to get.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Ham it up.
I like that. I like that.
I don't, Stacy, do you want to see this?
Pig
No,
barn.
I didn't think so.
No, not in the middle of the
Not even having
fairgrounds.
a county area.
Nobody.
I would say me and MRB,
Chris.
but MRB doesn't want to build much to it because it's a.
I don't want to have you
Nope.
guys.
I don't want to
yeah,
get yelled at
let's-
anymore.
No, that's
me.
right in the middle of an existing
Chris.
building anyway.
Just Chris Jensen.
Just Chris.
We don't need
It's all good,
fire.
Casey.
All right.
Go.
All right.
Thank you, Casey.
All right.
See you the
Thanks for coming in,
25th.
Senator.
Sure. Pick a meeting. Do we want to do this on the 12th?
It has to be the siren because
Let's
it's
do
new
the
business.
24th.
24th?
Yeah, please.
Your magic 24th meeting. Sounds like a nice, easy meeting with nothing to talk about.
They're filling up quick.
So,
Bye,
Thank you, Casey.
That building did turn out really nice. They have like
Yeah.
I wanna go out
an
there and
office
see it.
building, like an open ring and stuff like
They
that.
do good.
We should do
work
like a
there.
town employee day at the fair or something and come out for.
That's a fun
Yeah.
idea.
I always have to inspect it every year.
You do.
I know.
There you go. You
I don't have
can, you can be
time
like,
to-
I'm working.
Why do you put that on the
The
video?
fireworks.
I'm fried
I'm
dough
working.
working.
Was there anybody else out there?
No.
The
Where
demolition derby
is
night.
Simmons Rockwell?
Where is it? Or
Well,
where are
no,
Elmira.
no, where is that, the applicants? I'm surprised they're not here.
Well, I mean,
Is there anybody waiting?
not in the
anybody
waiting
else?
room or anything like that.
Shoot.
No, we'll just tell them what they're missing.
Where is their?
Everything?
Well, it's good that they
Well, we
didn't
did
show
get a
up then.
statement of operations, so that was good.
Did we get an actual survey?
I think we did. This is Simmons Rockwell.
29, 22, 29.
That Rockwell?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plans, we're just gonna give you these plans and let you
Now you go to
take a
town.
crack at them because
Which ones are
they're
these?
missing the, Simmons Rockwell.
Okay.
Is it diversified? Is that what they want to put
It
there?
looks really like they just kind of.
Oh,
Diversified
Vendors
Equipment
Upstairs.
LLC.
To sketch things on things. And
Yeah.
there's no proposed topography. There's no. There kind of is.
Not
It doesn't look
really,
like it though,
not
right?
I mean, here's the
Ugh.
plan, but I don't really know.
It's
what's going on.
we just, Chris was like, just give it.
No, but like-
Give it
like-
to land.
Jason
here's
knows,
the proposal.
Jason knows better, like.
No, but like, here's the grading plan, but it doesn't show the parking lot, the driveway.
It's not graded
It's
to
not.
accommodate the proposed.
It's not
items.
existing grade, proposed grades.
You're talking about, there's a box there. I
We
can see
need to
the
not
box.
spend a little time on this one
Yeah.
today.
I
It
just
doesn't
think it's lacking
deserve
a
it.
lot of details.
Yes.
I would say it's almost incomplete.
Yeah.
So what, can we go back to the overall plan, Chris, real quick? I'm having difficulty. seeing
Where is
that.
this on 332?
You know where the silo
The
is?
silo is. and
See the
little tiny
silo?
pond on the
Oh,
side.
this is the
Yeah.
boat storage thing and all that that used to be up
Mm-mm.
there.
it's up-
No,
Up the road,
This
It's
is-
north.
This is way up there.
Yeah, this is almost to the edge of town.
across from,
It's almost to town
Stella's.
line.
Oh, okay, over there. Got it.
The
Right.
old.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
silos.
I know where you are.
Yeah.
What are they trying to do? I was
They
confused by
want to
this.
put a Kubota.
It is an approved use.
It is,
It's
you
like-
know
It's
what?
actually commercial still up there.
Yeah.
so It's this lot right
What do I
here.
want to say? What
Is it
kind
in the
Excavating machinery
CC?
and stuff.
It's,
it's in the, what's it called? The
no,
MER.
farm-
it's not
Yeah,
in.
that's-
The
it's not
strategic
in
farm
Fort
architecture.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
What do I,
There's the
oh,
existing
Bobcat,
farms,
skid steer. They refurbish heavy machinery and then resell them.
So when that's ready, ECB will want to see that. So
That's kind of.
Keep the silo, looks like.
They want to keep the silo, they want to. I'm not sure. what
Whatever,
they wanna
it's
do with
there.
it. It's. I don't know if this warrants planning board review right now.
Are there
I don't
calcs
know.
for the stormwater and the pond?
I'm hearing
and,
incomplete.
Yeah, I mean, if we need, they gave us. it looks
There's
like
no
they do-
limits of disturbance.
It's
There's-
very, it almost looks like a sketch plan to me.
Yeah,
Scroll down, what are the other sheets?
that's what I'm saying. Here's the grading, which doesn't
This is
actually show the
grading. It
improvements.
doesn't show you, they.
The driveway, the parking
none of
lot.
it.
Existing grade.
No, it shows the
No.
proposed and.
Oh, is it in there?
Proposed, yeah, but
Oh, but they don't
it's
show the
bad.
ability.
They
show
the
the-
shadow.
Yeah, they look like that they want to grade for that and they're gonna put the
They
storage
forgot-
area in, but they
They
didn't. put
forgot
any
to turn the
improvements.
layers on and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just. It looks like they did it overnight quickly,
Mm.
improved standard kind of.
What
I don't
is
think
that
those are our
here?
details, those are all.
No, what is the detail to the left?
It's just a standard DEC's.
What's the
Stabilized
picture
construction
of?
entrance, concrete washout,
Driveway.
filter, silt fence.
It's standard
swale.
boilerplate.
But where's, they obviously have water, right? Or did you see a water detail?
I mean, it has a septic plan.
It's septic.
Landscaping.
Oh,
Has
that's
an
different.
infiltration
There's
trench
nothing.
detail.
It's,
commercial driveway detail off a state route, but there really is no,
Nope. I think we deem
What
it
do you want to
incomplete.
do? Incomplete?
Incomplete, yep,
Missing too many
yep.
Yeah,
key
yeah.
factors.
there's no engineering report, there's no stormwater report.
Yeah.
The plans are missing
All you
grading.
gotta do is take your checklist and just put searches in.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We can give them
Send
till
it back
Friday
to-
to get it in.
Yeah, being that it's a single stage, all that stormwater stuff has to be done. as
Oh,
part
right,
of
the
the-
whole engineering report and,
Yep.
yeah. So
Everything.
Some
Yeah, so we
communities
can
do the
put it-
preliminary final, so a lot of times these engineers come in and they submit it. And like, well, I can give it to you after preliminary, but you know, here it's a single stage review. It's one board meeting
Were they looking
essentially,
for
right?
Single stage.
Single stage.
So
All right, let's do,
But
actually do
can
the
it be single
checklist.
stage with the commercial site plan?
that I don't know. I was making an assumption.
Yeah. we can do
I didn't
single
think about
stage
it.
commercials.
I was just assuming that was single stage.
It's an incomplete assumption.
Yeah, that was really bad. Thankfully, it's just us. I don't know if commercial. I'm trying to think of, well, no, Frontenac was single stage, right? That was commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
It's
very-
allowed.
very similar to that.
So the two items that we know definitely is update the grading plan to accommodate the proposed improvements. And include your stormwater analysis and calculations. And SWIP,
SWIP.
they're two different things.
Right. Wait, were there even setback lines on here?
It looked like there was something shown in terms of setbacks, but I couldn't couldn't tell.
Oh. Oh,
That's the thing, there's no proposed setbacks, there's no dimensions from the building, there's right here, but it doesn't-
On that site plan, I
it
think
does
it
show,
does,
is
but
there
it
a zoning chart? No.
doesn't look like
I
it.
don't think so. I'll.
I think
mean,
if
I'm
you
gonna
go,
go
if
through
we
my
go through the
checklist.
checklist, we'll,
Yeah.
You do it
you'll
yourself.
be able to hit them up on a number of things.
Do we want to do that now?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Let's-
can.
So it's not.
actually, no, it might be. in
No,
the-
I think,
Or here.
Let's look,
I thought it was in
What?
the agricultural.
the
one.
ag,
Ooh, the cop.
cause that corner piece.
Yeah, this
Well,
little
they-
bit right there. is not-
I've always been upset with that drawing, it looks like a 2-year-old drawing.
Yeah.
You can't. well,
Like-
yeah,
like with a
big
crayon.
fat mark.
MRB's name's not on it, that's good.
No, it really should follow the property lines, because like.
I'm nervous when we have.
Sean and I have to
conversation.
make determinations based on that, and that thick red line covers
Yeah.
multiple
Sorry,
parcels.
Sorry, your
Yeah.
parcel's under the red line. I don't really
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Yes, it's inside it. It's,
It
I
is.
I actually just tried
It's
dragging
in
my mouse
the
over the
strategic
wall.
farmland or within Hamilton Road?
It is,
It's like right here.
it is this parcel right there.
But it's, okay, so the soil's not.
It's
behind,
farmland
but it's
protection.
within.
But it's in the
within-
area.
yeah.
Yeah,
I actually just tried to drag my mouse
I
over
like,
to
I
the
love that
wall.
you did that.
Thank you.
Is it the MUO up there too?
Checking to see if
It
the.
doesn't
Look at
have
all,
that.
look at all these graphs now, like, yeah, what
Well,
else?
it doesn't
That's
tell
gonna
us
be
it's
fine.
an MUO. That's right.
I could spend
Yeah,
an hour and a
so-
half in this room.
Yeah.
I
but
took
this-
the zoning
technically
map
this
outta
is-
here.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll
it's
use
designed
the
for
core.
so much to
Oh,
answer
it's
questions,
behind
but
you.
that's what all these
Right
maps
there.
are.
They're really important.
It's
to have.
assuming,
Yeah, there
so-
is no, the MUO is across the street. Ah,
That blue.
it is in the MUO too.
It doesn't list it as this, I know.
It's north of Purdy, right?
No,
You
it's south.
you can probably
Alright,
take
but
that
if
down
it's
if you
south of
want to not
Purdy, then
hurt your
it's not
neck.
in the MUO.
See
No, I
that?
think this one,
You can see
just
it's direct,
outside, right?
Just pull it down, Sean.
right here, guys, look,
It's right there.
it's right.
Yeah.
So it's in the MUO
No,
too.
it's not. this
It's
side.
not.
Nope.
Okay, is it or is it not in the MUO?
is
It is
not
not in the
Okay.
MUO.
And the blue is.
Community commercial.
CC.
Oh, okay.
But it is in the strategic farmland protection. area.
Yeah.
It is.
So what does that mean? That it's in there for farmland protection?
It,
It goes to the ag board?
we should send it to the ag. It's not, there's nothing formally that
Mhm.
protects it,
I got you.
but,
You get some oversight from another
but yeah,
group.
it's looked at more, strategically, I guess.
Sure.
Really,
It can be used as a reason to look at it deeper into.
right, right.
Is it currently being farmed? We know
This
that.
parcel was not.
No.
No.
It is a
Okay.
little bit
I
in the
think
corner.
they were gonna put a car dealership there. one
Right,
time.
that's what I thought
Yeah.
too. I was at
That's
one.
where they bought the one.
So the corner looks like it is though,
right here,
possibly.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, I guess is it possible that,
It's interesting.
let's say the farming committee says, hey, we want to let whatever farming operations were existing continue? Is that something that could happen or no? Is
I
that?
mean, they couldn't force.
They can't
someone
force that.
Gotcha.
to
Okay.
say, Especially
I was
since
just
it's
curious.
CC. kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Makes sense.
Is that a?
Land,
Yeah.
this
There's
is
a
Mark.
Wetland there.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I had actually talked to Doug about this property at one point, and he indicated that because it was in the protected ag, that the intended commercial purpose, if it served ag, could also be allowed. Because there were a number of things that at that time, he didn't think could be allowed related to it unless it tied back to ag. And I think this purpose probably falls into that. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
But it is in the CC zoning district and it's a principally permitted use in the zoning district. So the determination will be their proposed use is a principally permitted use.
got it. Cool.
But that's something that sounds like that would be something the ag
To look
committee would
into
look
it,
at
Absolutely.
and have to provide their thoughts on that as well. But okay, that makes sense. We haven't had many that have come to us
No,
in the protection area, so,
well, the solar, we had the one,
right?
yeah. We might have more solar coming up too. I got 2 more people.
I'm sure we
Yeah.
will. I'm sure.
I
Is
sent
that
them-
two?
I literally,
Yeah.
every project I look at, one's not one solar, one's
Yeah.
not one solar.
Yeah, I will put it also in my zoning determination that it's a,
Okay.
absolutely. in The
So you're taking
strategic
care of the
protection.
But we
checklist.
believe.
I'm gonna take care of the checklist today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
at a minimum, those two items that we mentioned are 3, 4,
The plans are
5.
complete, unless they can get
so
it done by Friday.
lighting plan.
Lighting, everything, not
Is there-
just nothing.
I can't envision this being able to come in by Friday.
Yeah, it's just kind of a lacking.
So we deem it incomplete today. Does it have to come back to PRC in May?
I think it should.
The zoning law
So that's-
determination will be that the.
What are they proposing to stay there again? I'm sorry.
Kubota
It's-
dealership.
Kubota Bobcat skid steer repair and resale,
Yeah, so it's an approved use.
right?
But they don't have signage. It would be good for them to come into this.
Yes.
Meeting and
I'm
talk to
really
us, right?
surprised they're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's
They
another
said they were going
reason.
to.
There's no proposed sign, there's no proposed. sign.
Sure, yeah,
There's
I'm
no-
assuming they will.
But that has to go through. planning
Right,
board.
exactly. Well, it's gotta go through the
Yeah.
normal process without a doubt. I'm just,
And
it'd
that's
be
gonna
nice to
be,
know.
that's gonna be a cutoff of 332, right? They don't have any other road access, right? They're gonna have.
They,
to
they
do-
already have it.
Oh, they do, okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing when they did 332 is they did put cutoffs. on
Future cutoffs, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the parcels because they didn't want to do.
And
it.
I told them also, the applicant, I mean, this is the optics. You're coming into the town. This is an important parcel.
This is one of the first things you'll see.
This is
coming
what you're
into
gonna
town.
see, so, if you're gonna do this, you really need to be involved in this process.
Are we, as a town, want to keep that silo that's there?
That's planning board.
I'm just
It
curious.
doesn't structure.
I don't know, I don't- I'm trying to rem-
Yesterday, it looks like it's.
I'm just trying to remember. I mean, it's kind of a cool feature. I just don't know if it's.
The applicant said
Kubota
they
and,
wanted to put
you know.
signage on it, if that was even possible.
It would
Do they
be.
want to put like a timeout bear there for signage?
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Aw, What happened to that guy?
I
That
think
little chair?
the evil town took it down. I mean,
the town-
that's
No,
my
the town
understanding.
didn't. The owner did because they would kind of, no, people put more and more garbage,
know.
more and more bears, things like that.
The rumor was that the town was evil and made them take it
No,
away.
it
though.
was
That
not.
was the rumor.
Oh, man.
I was not part of the town.
So a bear was killed with
To be
a-
clear.
This is gonna.
Not reviewed by the PRC, you have to come back.
Well, we
It's
did
out there.
review it.
I mean, for the pre-paperwork.
It's incomplete.
It's
project.
deemed incomplete.
It's been deemed
It will
incomplete.
not get a date for planning board yet.
It is encouraged that the applicant meet with town staff and go over the missing items.
Yeah, that is the timeout bear right there, isn't it?
No, that was way down there.
Was it?
It doesn't have to go anyplace now. You gotta do all your.
Yep, yep. Thank you, John.
Back in May.
Oh, that's right, the timeout bear. was
Yeah,
on the
that's where
hill.
they want to put
That
it.
was at the
on
bottom.
the
On
side.
there?
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know
Make it
what
painted.
that
You don't know what
is.
the hell I'm talking about.
No.
I'm stumped,
So-
Lance. That's how we know you're not a longtime
Where?
Canandaigua
I'm
native.
Sadly, I'm not.
I don't care.
See, they know where the
Chris
timeout
is not
bear
even
is.
from.
I'm sorry, I brought it up,
It
guys.
was right here.
Yeah.
Can you do a U-turn anywhere?
How long ago
Getting
was
on?
that?
Oh, no.
10 years ago, maybe.
How was
Usually
it?
if you,
Past 10 years, I just don't remember that. That's
Somebody-
terrible.
Somebody put up a chair and they put this giant
Someone
bear
just
in it.
duct
It's like-
taped a
it-
bear
it
to a
was like-
tree.
Yeah, they
I
duct
got
taped
you.
it
Yeah.
and it was like, wasn't it just a chair first?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
team,
somebody
where are we
put the
going?
bear
All
on.
right.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
That's
Okay,
what it
guys.
was. Chuck, you don't want to talk
To-
about the bear?
We want to do. Well, what
Not
happened?
enough.
What happened to Brendan? Brendan,
Sorry.
is he
Incomplete.
still on there?
The bear.
Reading.
rest in peace.
Uh,
So we got a couple ZBA things, but
Wood.
I'm selfish
Where's
looking for
wood?
planning board.
Where's mine?
Selfish looking for planning. board.
Kevin talked about. CC.
You want to do the fence on Overlook?
It's a
Yeah,
ZBA
let's
stuff,
go really
right?
quick. Fence on overlook. The guy's got a property with 3 frontages. He wants to put a 6-foot fence up in his backyard, but technically he has front yard, front yard, front yard, side yard, no backs. It's a double quarter lot.
It's a double frontage lot.
No, it's a triple
It's a
frontage.
triple.
Triple frontage.
Triple
lot.
rainbow.
But so what
I don't know why
he
you'd want a fence then, on a triple frontage lot.
He wants his backyard.
He wants
fenced
some
in with 6 foot.
privacy.
Yes.
He wouldn't be able to put a 4-foot fence in, but we're allowing him to go to 6 with this.
With a variance.
Also, if it does come up during planning board,
Oh, the drainage.
there is a drainage and landscaping easement along the backs of these properties.
Yeah,
The
why doesn't he
issue
have the
is-
trees? That's weird.
It was done during the original subdivision approval.
Yeah.
The issue is it was supposed to be to the HOA to maintain and everything like that. It's not town property. And when they filed the easement and everything, they didn't file a description with it that said what you can and cannot do within it. So we've pretty much abandoned any enforcement of it. We've actually even offered this owner to remove the sign. This owner's like, I don't want this sign in my yard. I'm like, it's not our sign. It's your sign. He's like, well, the homeowners. I'm like, we have no homeowners. So it's the sign.
They don't have an HOA?
They do not.
No, it was something that really happened weird during the approval process, which they should have. But now we own.
So we have a town park in there.
Yeah,
You could
so this is
basically go
actually-
in
Yeah, yeah,
there.
I know it's
This-
the town park.
But this is also
I
town
thought they had
property
still had an
with the
HOA.
ponds and everything on it. So we
Yeah,
maintain the ponds, we
Yeah,
maintain
I
the
know.
open areas.
Where's that guy's actual property then?
He's got the corner.
So that he goes all the way straight through, that's not HOA on the, it goes straight to Buffalo, okay.
There's no,
And he's not coming, he's going to the edge of his house.
he just
right in the
wants,
back.
he just wants to be able to fence in this part
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here
yeah.
with 6-foot privacy fence for his dogs
Yeah,
and kids. So
Yeah.
very straightforward,
Mhm.
Just goes to zoning, doesn't it?
That's
To
not
ZBA.
planning board.
just zoning,
Yeah.
variance for 2.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would want one there too.
Mhm.
Any place that goes and every referral.
No,
no, not even,
I don't think so.
not even.
no, MRB doesn't even need to see
I
it.
mean, you can even see the
Right.
other properties here.
Yeah,
have
it's just a
6-foot
fence.
fences down the road.
I would want a fence there too.
He also submitted some nice renderings. We asked for them in color.
Yeah,
Is he doing
And-
wood or what? What is he doing?
probably vinyl.
Fine.
What are those
So-
fences? Oh, there's white, there's vinyl
They're
fences?
white vinyl, 6-foot.
4
vinyl.
foot, 6 foot? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, he's got a precedent.
With the 17th.
He's got a precedent. here
That's a
for it,
cool view. What is that view called?
Big town.
Pictometry.
Oh, that's the picture.
Mhm.
Nice.
You can get lots of angles.
too. Something else to play with.
I know. I'm
No,
seriously gonna spend my
And
life
watch
on
this.
Encore if I'm not
There's a
careful.
button called View
Let's put
Historic
it on
Images.
TikTok.
Did you see this one?
What is it?
And View Historic Images.
Yes.
And you can click on it and you can.
And there's
see, like-
nothingness, yeah.
No, if you click on like this.
Yeah.
Shows Indian heads.
No, like, let's see.
Terminology we're using.
You could look at my neighborhood
that is
probably.
No.
Oh, yeah?
Correct, Chuck.
Like here's, I click on that, and it shows you, it gives you a list of like aerial photos from 1938.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
Is that how you got your London newspaper, Chris?
That's cool.
Is that how you got your London newspaper?
Oh, I'm gonna have to
Oh,
look
no,
at that
here's another
now.
one.
Oh,
Is
man,
that soils?
this is way too
Yeah.
exciting.
Soils in 38.
School number 7.
My old house was there.
Oh,
then,
there's
so,
Academy Cemetery.
Yeah.
There's like,
Oh, I'm gonna have to look at that for my old house then, before the gravel pit was there.
Wow,
you can see where the old orchards used to
look
be
at all the
and
trees along
Oh
Westlake
my
Road.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
Okay, this is, I'm
I
literally
know,
gonna
you
live.
get lost in
I'm
it.
gonna, oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
Okay, back to the.
I know what Chris does.
Much better than the time out there.
Okay, so.
We've got Petrucci. He's not, he said he was probably gonna be traveling.
Which one is that one?
That is 22023.
23, okay.
Areas.
He's putting in the driveway, right?
Yep.
Or wants to put a little.
So he did provide us with the as-built drawing, he showed us this, and the driveway is gonna be 1'6" from the property line with 10 foot required. The thing is did he prove it in this question? It's up to the ZBA, but you could really fit that driveway over here in front of his house, or over here, it's not, so. Again, back to the ZBA.
Does he indicate how close he is to a neighboring?
The
home?
neighbor is livid.
And the thing is, I mean, if
And
we
he's submitting
grant
something
this,
in writing.
every subdivision, every building, every lot, he's setting a precedent, so
Huge.
you have to prove that it's required. But there's some sort of hardship,
Yep.
There's no hardship. But yeah,
it's up to the ZBA.
right, that's not our call.
There we go,
Okay, moving on.
yeah,
Does it goes any place to know?
No,
ZBA,
Yeah.
ZBA, and that's it.
his questions for. Okay. He answered them, but that's up to the ZBA.
It's 99, Brennan Wood.
That going forward. Have the,
He said he got us what he needed. We needed in March. but I don't-
Attached two-car garage with a deck at the top of the new.
Oh,
garage.
wait, this
This
is
is an old one.
99, 21.
so what he kept,
199.
giving us sketches, he kept giving us stuff. The problem is, so like, here's the sketch plan.
Yeah, show him.
So here's the sketch plan, but here is saying, okay, the architect's saying it's 4.5 from the property line, but architects can't say it's from the property line. And then he drew it based on this old plan. He traced an old as-built prior to him totally rebuilding the boathouse, rebuilding all this, rebuilding all this. So then we said, okay, you need a survey to base your plan on. He got a survey done, which this is this survey, which is an old survey where the old boathouse was. So like, no, you need a survey showing where things are now. A recent one. I don't have it inside. Oh, there we go. This is existing.
We got that, right?
We got this one.
Okay.
But he doesn't have a plan showing where the addition is on this new plan.
So you wanted to, yeah, to draw
We
it
need
in
to
on
see
that,
what
yeah,
he's
so you
proposing
can see the
on the
distances.
existing, right, and we couldn't determine.
We can't determine setbacks. We can't determine size. Lot
No,
coverage, or-
Right,
it's
so
the
we
same
have
problem a lot of
nothing to
communities
tell,
run into.
right.
They're like, oh, we allow sketch plan, but really, really what it is, I need a survey with
But
some
the
drawing. on it.
The ZBA has to base their decision on a plan
Yep,
that has boundary on it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. How do you make a determination the building is 10 feet off the road if you don't have a plan?
Because what
It
he wrote
shows
was
it.
4.5 feet, but if you look at the as-built, yeah, it does say 4.9 feet. So again, the sketch is different from the.
Yeah.
And anything closer than 5 feet to the property line has to be built with non-combustible stuff.
Because of your
it's
code.
The building code, fire code, separation distance from property line, so fire doesn't jump from one building to the next and everything. So again, there's a few things that need to be considered.
I'm with you.
Want me to put anything that he needs to do by Friday?
Yeah, provide a proposed site plan based on the updated
We told him this last
existing
week,
condition, plan, but we'll make it formal.
but we'll make it formal. He's got it in writing.
Based on the updated existing conditions survey plan.
I just want to see what I actually said. Yeah, a plan that shows a proposed addition on the 3-8 survey. We have nothing that shows what you want to do with measurements.
On that plan,
Yeah, we need it by Friday at the latest. That's what we asked them on Wednesday of last.
combine the two things.
Basically, yeah, that's
It
it.
already went around to the different places in January.
Because honestly,
It was
that,
referred out.
It was.
that landscape architect could say, reference the survey and say it's 4.9 feet and then show it.
But if he
And
says
that
it,
would
then
be
you have something that justifies it, right?
reference, yeah. I mean, you just had to put one line and try and change that from 4.9
Like,
to
the two
4.5.
don't tie together without that note.
Is next.
You just got
24.
Mueller,
Just got-
Skinner.
24.
yeah, 24.
No,
And
this
did you
is
talk about the
garage.
Wester? You're not talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
Wester?
from the
That
Cheshire.
is just, Chris, it's just building permit. They don't need
Yeah.
site plan.
Okay,
Building permit and a new truck. for land.
We let them know. They needed a bunch of information.
So this person, I wrote void violation on this one because again, they drew their sketch on someone else's plan.
Yeah,
What?
let's see, we
Gotcha.
let them know Wednesday that we need a professionally prepared site plan showing all proposed improvements with proposed setbacks along with existing conditions by Friday, the 15th.
This is the Mueller one.
So
This
again.
is
Yes.
Skinner. Is it
it's-
Skinner?
I'm sorry.
Trying to say that one
Yes,
again,
you're
so.
A professionally prepared site plan showing all proposed improvements
yeah, it's Mueller and
with
Skinner. all
proposed
the same thing.
setbacks along with existing conditions
By Friday.
by Friday, 4:15 at the latest. Yes.
It's the one I've been in Cheshire.
22-24.
Because I mean, they could reference this plan and have another architect just reference this and show it on it. But
Stamp
That's what I
signed,
need.
certified, right, but you can't draw on top of somebody else's.
And Rude's not even a player in the.
Gregory Rude. He
That
doesn't
must
own
be
that
the former
anymore, right?
owner.
that was the previous.
Is he the orthodontist?
No,
Different
he
Rude?
lives down in Westlake.
Okay. We did the
Okay,
codes, we've
well,
done Morris.
2231, I
and then-
think.
Metro, is kind of-
Oh, Metro.
Oh,
They're
Did you
back.
do all of them?
There's
Okay.
one, this one.
Metro
is it back with a form, a renewed application?
Where's Metros?
It's a
It's
new,
gonna be all
application.
new.
All
Oh, it's
same,
new,
but new.
okay.
all the same materials as
Everything
last
the
time,
same.
They were
They went for-
previously approved.
multiple
Okay.
extensions and
Got
it
it.
expired, so they have to come back.
So what is Metros?
Metros is a small subdivision on Bristol Road,
Behind the hammocks.
basically by the hammocks. Very
Okay.
narrow, skinny little lot.
Nice little development.
Yeah, we
It's
spent,
got some
and we spent a
potential.
lot of time on it.
And
Gosh.
you absolutely did. I
Oh,
looked through the
my.
file and it was very detailed. It's a conservation subdivision.
Right.
It's got a large area in the back that's
Yeah.
being
I thought that was
preserved.
part of the hammocks. I didn't realize it was a separate
It's that,
thing.
you'll see it.
It's Monterey Price.
It was like a sliver of land that was left
So
over
they're
after
finding
Ah.
never got.
right here and here, and building like, I think 8.
What-
Eight.
I think 8 or 9
What's that flag connected to?
It's nothing, there was some
walkway
plan
or access.
of
Green
walking,
plan.
The
they
green plan.
never did it, this is. this
Oh,
next-
We
okay.
tried to get it connected, but the city didn't want. it.
this
That's
goes-
city over there?
The city,
Like, no,
so-
but this goes here and it's owned by William
Oh.
Metros, but then this is owned by a private owner. And this was what they went next to was what they have and
It's a
stuff.
trail to nowhere.
You know what it could eventually do is connect.
No, we all
somewhere.
tried to, we all tried to convince people and try to get, because the city was fine with this.
I was gonna say, as a former trails person, I'm like, wait, what's
But
that?
this is owned by a private ownership.
Yeah.
Right here,
Where is that? Is
Here
that,
it is. Here's the development.
this is in the city.
I know, is that, am I looking at
So-
Bad Chapin? Is that
Lance, you
behind
don't
Bad
really need
Chapin?
to do it.
Yeah.
This is that. shape.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do anything.
Well, what do you have?
I think what I would do is. I would say, the same as before.
I would
Sunrise.
rather say CLD.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
comes off of Bristol Road?
Say that again?
Yep,
The
it's
same
almost
one,
across
it's-
from.
Yeah, okay, if you guys do that, then you don't.
So here's the camera.
Okay.
No, it's just because we told them.
Quail
they need to
bush.
connect
Like,
Mhm,
got, yeah.
This to this before they built their 30th home and stuff.
Well, these are awful interesting.
The hammocks?
Yeah,
This is the hammock.
Yeah.
so I think this is the vacant space, like this was supposed to be a lot.
Guess that was it.
We did give it a new number.
They wanted to
Yeah,
maximize.
it's 22
Put the road anywhere else, cut, like we talked about.
No, I'm
possibly
saying, why did
That's
it
gonna
just make
come
this
to the
another
ready.
house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conservation subdivision
Second.
Oh,
criteria.
because there's something about
They
it.
were
why
looking
don't we
for
do that
lot.
first?
Yes, yes,
In
yes,
return,
yes.
It was on the first meeting.
and be space. That was a lot of the argument, the
Got it.
dialogue was how to accomplish that.
Yes. I
It's
understand.
exactly the
And
same.
then it became ownership of this.
Exactly. It's
Two
gonna
little
change.
lots.
I know, but I'm saying we have
Less
sections.
than a
of code
quarter
that says
acre.
whether or not it needs to be 2-phase or 1-phase.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm talking about the meeting in June, the.
For
first
metros?
meeting. Why don't we do the first meeting in May?
It's going back to the very beginning, right? Or is it going back to, did we
Shoot.
do
Does that
a
mean for
preliminary
super-
approval?
Well, that's my question. Does it need preliminary and final?
It's a brand,
That's
we have to look at it.
It's a
now,
question for
brand new.
Chris Nadler, but I think we did do something similar where it went back to preliminary. Because the question, do you have preliminary plans that are signed?
That was the hangup. That he never got the preliminary plans in.
So we have nothing signed.
No, they had preliminary, they didn't.
I thought we signed
We
preliminary
have,
and then
the
final
final was
came in
never
and
signed.
final was never signed.
the preliminary was.
That would be
What?
question one. Confirm that we have preliminary signed plans, because if we do, I think then we go back to that and they're coming back in for
I
final.
don't think we
only.
signed,
But if we don't have
I
signed
didn't
preliminary
sign
plans,
anything for metros.
Nothing?
Nothing. Nope.
if we don't have preliminary signed plans, then it's
All right, let me
probably
find
right, gotta go
out.
back to the
Because there
beginning.
was, there was a hangup with the easements. Chris had to approve the easements. Remember, Metros said that we kept sending things to your attorney and got no response. And I was trying to get the documents approved and
So remind me of the conservation subdivision review process. Two-stage review, right? In order for them to come in and get final, which they got,
For-
they had to have
They
preliminary
did.
signed plans. So
They
I,
have to have had preliminary, Chuck, but it was the final that's when the easements come in and we were waiting.
So here's,
okay.
so here's.
But let me,
but
I
maybe
want
we
to
didn't
confirm
sign preliminary.
everything.
Yeah, we
What
got
we-
preliminary
what we
approval,
got
but
right
no
here.
signed.
This is amended preliminary conservation subdivision plan, and this was 324. Then we also have final conservation subdivision plan,
324.
324.
Right, because they amended it on that day but there's another preliminary approval that the unamended one that was done before this. The question is, were those plans required to be signed and signed? Because typically if they're signed, I think that's where they go back to, but if they're not signed, then I don't know
Okay,
what the rule is.
all right, we'll search everything.
We did something like this with like Lakewood Meadows, where plan came in and we had to go back to preliminary and start from preliminary and then grant final grant.
For a section
A
or
section.
for the whole?
Nope, just for that
Just a
phase. So
phase?
phase,
Okay.
let's call it whatever, 9 and 10, right? They
Yep.
had a preliminary approval, that was the overall.
Right,
And then they came back in with a new amended plan for final 9 and 10. They went back, we confirmed that it was substantially conforming to the preliminary signed plan, and then it went back in for final.
okay.
So this
Wow,
says
this has
one
gone
stage,
through a lot.
one stage.
Preliminary,
Continue.
so if it doesn't have preliminary, then they would be going back in for a preliminary.
I have to file.
Yeah,
So
preliminary,
it's preliminary, but we also have
overall, and then final overall.
final on the same day.
So I'm sorry,
We have preliminary and final on
you.
the same day.
right. Are you still referring to the amended one? Yeah, because they had to amend the preliminary, so they did, and then that allowed us to move forward with final, but we had to have approved preliminary before that, because that one's an amended one. So there had to be one, in order to get the term amended, I would imagine we had to have approved the preliminary before then. Maybe we didn't.
I don't know if we did,
Okay.
because the preliminary site plan and the final site plan have the same date.
Okay. That's probably what they'll be looking for again. I just gotta think about. We actually, if it never occurred. And there's no standing,
Yeah.
then we have to go through all the aspects again, seeker, everything.
All right.
I don't know if we can make the statement that was previously done. Meaning that we might have to do another coordinated review. All of that.
Well, I can also check minutes too. I'll,
We just have to find out if we have signatures.
yeah,
on
we'll
preliminary.
see what we have. I have the whole file.
And it's a
pulled,
question,
and
yeah, I mean, I don't, Chris may
I'll,
say, he may tell you that you don't need to have signatures.
on
You
the-
just grant a preliminary approval and that might be enough. I was always under the impression that. On a two-stage review, you get signatures on preliminary, and that's basically the starting spot going forward. Which is why a lot of people want to get to that preliminary stage and then they wait,
Then they wait because.
because they
then
got
can
something to go
have-
back to,
right.
they're not starting over.
The Tabitha, she keeps referring to as the final conservation subdivision. Was approved on 3/24,
Right, with an
and
amended,
the notification of such, along with the conditions of approval, was sent to the applicant on 3/25, and that's the 90 days that keep running out.
was on final.
Well, final, but I wasn't sure if there was, I don't even remember one vote on it. But anyway, check the records.
Okay.
Yep. Okay,
So if it is okay, it goes to the May meeting then?
Early May.
You know what else to look at, Chris, is
why
look
don't
at
we put it
our,
on the early May for now?
I'll say to be determined.
our final resolution, our final site plan resolution would say, or should have said. How do we address the amended, like, what was the condition? Was it to get amended plan? Amended preliminary plans in for, yeah, amended preliminary conservation subdivision are to be signed. Once all conditions have been met prior to signatures being affixed to the final plans.
The amended preliminary are to be signed.
Right.
Okay. yeah.
So it's, you're right, Chuck, maybe the preliminary plan was never signed, maybe it got an approval, then they amended it,
Contingent
and they
on-
never submitted those preliminary plans for signature. And here we are.
Okay.
So technically, those 90-day extensions would have been on both preliminary and final.
And then
Because when they
that's-
referred to amended, I think it was amended in the sense that if they had submitted an
And
original
received an approval, but
application
not
with a
signed.
different layout.
Yep.
Then it came back and said, we rethought about this, I talked to Bill, that we want to submit an amended
Yeah.
preliminary,
they
and
got
then
an
that's the
approval,
one
but
we
not
acted
signed.
on, and I think we acted on the final at the same time.
Final pending the amended gets signed.
It was required, in order
Yeah.
to sign final, we had to sign amended.
And those
And
I
were,
that
don't know that
didn't
we did.
happen.
and
I
those
don't
were
know
the
if we
conditions
did or
that
didn't.
weren't met, including,
Including the
Chris-
conservation management plan.
yep. Yep. That's the one Tabitha said Chris was non-responsive. And the information that, the correspondence was going to the wrong person, and, oh, gosh.
Right, right.
So yeah, if there's
I'll make
no
excuse.
preliminary
It
plan
goes to the
signed,
person on the application.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was sent to,
Tabitha's name never came up in this.
she was
Ever.
new to me at the, 2 weeks ago.
All right,
that's a good question. though.
All right.
Has that already gone through ECB that way?
can I
Yeah,
indulge, do you want to, I guess as far as the meeting, we're done?
we're done.
Is there something for West Hair, Toyota,
No,
State Route 332?
that is not an application anymore.
Get rid of it.
Yeah,
Chris can, it's so simple, Chris can.
yeah, Chris is doing.
So simple.
So simple.